I've been in finance, invested in tech, but never really got my head around Web3. It's a controversial industry filled with scandals, where everyone seems to have a different opinion. I've always wondered, is there something more behind the headlines? Web 1 and 2 have already changed how we live, work, and play. What happens when the next evolution is powered by a host of new values and technologies? I've discovered that countries in Asia are building for a Web3 future, each in their unique way. So, I'm on a journey to learn from the builders in real life. The Philippines is a country that has been urbanizing rapidly. It has a large and young population with a growing middle class. It is well known for its service industry, with business process outsourcing as the key sector. When it comes to Web3, I have seen statistics where people in the Philippines are consistently ranked as the top holders for NFTs and cryptocurrencies. NFTs gain their popularity through art and collectibles, so I think that's a good place for me to start my journey.
We're gonna go to our client's home to deliver a piece of sculpture by Carlos. He's actually our father.
He's exclusive to us because he has no choice.
You have run your gallery for years. I want to understand more about your clients, right, and the art collectors. What are their demographics?
Most have a little bit more disposable income to spend on art. That's an older group. In the past 10 years or so, there's definitely a younger demographic. You know, a lot of young families, young professionals. Now I'm seeing for Web3, it's a completely different audience. It's not the traditional art collector. It's opened up to a completely different generation.
I think meeting clients in real life is my most favorite part of the whole process, because after communicating with them via SMS or email, it's nice to be able to connect with them on a personal level.
A lot of the time we just deliver it and we don't really know how it looks like in real life. But when we see it, where it is, and how the family or the collector lives with it, it's fulfilling.
I've seen it from the artist's daughter's house a long time ago, and I've been wanting that piece of art from the day that I saw it. It really captured me. So thank God he will commission one for me.
Both of you are avid collectors. Do you see art as an investment, a collectible, or it's just art?
I don't believe we buy art as soul for investment. We want to enjoy it.
It's more an investment for our
We still
soul.
enjoy it. Yes.
I do believe that it is a tangible investment.
I believe that is an investment also. Crypto art is very interesting. Actually, it was my son who told me so much about it. He explained to me all about the NFTs. And even my daughter. My son is 14 and my daughter is only 13.
It was really an eye-opener.
Because crypto art can have different price ranges. They don't always have to be very expensive initially. And then as an investment, it can multiply.
You have not purchased any crypto art yet, right?
We're getting there. We're not saying no to it.
I can actually guarantee that we will own crypto art, probably within the next 3 years. I believe crypto art will be the future of art.
Today, we're presenting One of One, which is an exhibit of crypto art by probably the best and the brightest in the Philippines.
This is the 12. It's a commemorative, collaborative NFT by all the 12 artists in the roster of One of One, where one artist will build on the work of another.
We want this exhibit in a high traffic area like this. It's a mall. It may be a little unusual, but it does invite a lot of eyes to the exhibit. And we're able to explain what the work is, the infrastructure behind crypto, so people will be more familiar with it.
How did you get started into crypto art?
I actually had a friend tell me last year, in 2021, about First Mint Fund, where they offer grants to artists to be able to mint their first artworks. I had shared this information with my sisters. And early this year, we were planning out what we were going to do for my dad's exhibits to coincide with his 72nd birthday.
Yes, that's right. We said, let's try to do something special. And so we broached the idea of making NFT art or crypto art with him. And he said, let's do it. So when we first showed my dad's work, we had one-on-one talks and really would sit down with the clients because they completely loved the artwork, but they had no idea what am I going to
They
do.
don't even have a crypto wallet.
Yeah.
They just want it, but they don't know how to get it.
Exactly. So like I remember my sister having to sit down with the client for 4 hours straight and for several days.
And there were all these questions like, okay, so what do I do with this now? What do I get? How do I show it? So it's
How do I pay for it? Like, can I use a credit card to pay for this? So definitely the education is there to kind of hold their hand through something that is unknown.
And do you think that with the rise of the crypto art scene in the Philippines will experience a new creative renaissance?
Yes. We've had digital art for a very long time. Yes. But even the artists themselves feel like they weren't accepted in the art world because it's digital.
This whole crypto art movement is shining a spotlight on them that wasn't on them before. And all of a sudden, there is importance given to their medium and to their work.
There are new players entering the scene. I think that's what's really cool and interesting about the renaissance of crypto art in the Philippines.
Also, we see a lot of collectors who are more savvy with crypto, who understand the value of crypto art. And so that's exciting too in the art world now.
I dreamt about being an artist in the traditional world, but there are not opportunities for digital artists before. And doing NFTs really gave me that opportunity.
It's pretty amazing that the stuff I do on Photoshop can be worth something. Like I'm an independent, starving artist, you might say, from a small city in a third world country.
This is my piece called Huling Hapunan. This whole idea of the Last Supper is pretty important to this Catholic nation. So I wanted to bring the Last Supper into an important place, which is a fast food place here in the Philippines. Because of the internet, I got to work with the big brands globally. With Web3, it equalizes the playing field even more. There's better opportunities for creatives in the Philippines.
What is the difference for creatives between the Web 2 and Web 3?
I think Web 2 is a big entity that has a say on everything that you put on their platform. For example, if I go to Instagram and then post my work there, they can basically use your work commercially in some way. They kind of have ownership of your work. And then they gave us, in return, some hearts and likes and followers. We get a false sense of achievement. With Web3, it's the first time that creatives like myself can have ownership over something that is a digital asset. And when you can own something, then you can have an economy around it where you can sell or you can earn from it and make a living. And the beauty of Web3 is that when you put your work on the blockchain, even when all these big companies are gone, your work is still on the blockchain. And it can still be sold to other people.
So you want to be paid for your...
Well, oh yeah. There's an ongoing issue also as in the Philippines where people don't really value design work or anything creative. They expect you to make a logo for them for like the price of a SIM card with like a $10 load inside it.
So why do you think that the talents are so undervalued?
I think a lot of them are scared to value themselves first and allow other people to step on them. essentially. I think it's a matter of confidence because of our history. 300 years of colonial rule from one country, and then another 100 years from a couple other countries. So we were brainwashed to think we weren't good enough. We're not worthy enough to be equal to those people who colonized us. So right now, I try to tell that to people. You're better than a lot of people I know I work with, and they get so much more salaries than you.
I think that's one of the missions that you are trying to do, right? To help creatives get better pay, get better opportunities. Can you share more about that?
I don't know if you've heard of the term OFW. Yeah, the overseas Filipino worker. So essentially, we have to export people to have a better life. So my advocacy over the last few years is that with the digital economy, you can be the new OFW, which is an online Filipino worker. You don't have to be overseas. You can work online. So I created this little group called Filipino Nomads Creative Network. It's a very informal Facebook group where I can share all those jobs, opportunities, and get some people some work.
I'm very curious to know, do people pay you in crypto or in fiat?
So I work with companies who paid in crypto. And I'm like, I'm never gonna go back to anything fiat because it's so hard to get paid from like the US, the Europe, all the fees. You're gonna lose so much money.
But are you not worried about the fluctuations?
No, because you get paid in stable coins. So unless it's Ethereum or Bitcoin, probably I can also take that.
When you look at the Global Crypto Adoption Index, it is very interesting to see that emerging markets dominate the top 20 spots. I think in low-trust societies where they don't have an efficient or accessible financial system, crypto can solve a lot of problems, such as facilitating cross-border transactions like remittances, or in countries with weak domestic currencies, crypto can also be a store of value. However, the Philippines has a large labor workforce and they are young and upwardly mobile. So I think with digital economy and Web3, there is an opportunity for them to create new roles for themselves. When we met the artists, it really feels that they genuinely believe in Web3 and how it can change their lives and their work. I also realized that during the play-to-earn gaming boom, Philippines is actually the birthplace of Yield Guild games, or otherwise known as YGG. YGG is a decentralized gaming guild. They pioneered the scholarship system that has been widely adopted around the world. I've arranged to meet the manager of YGG's local chapter in the place where it all started.
This is a pretty far northern province in the Philippines. This was kind of the epicenter of the whole play-to-earn gaming thing back in 2020.
So maybe you can share with me how it started?
Because of the pandemic. A lot of people were losing their jobs during the lockdown. And it was just like this perfect storm of factors, you know? You're stuck at home, you had free time, you really needed work, and gaming is still kind of fun. And if there is a way for you to turn some of that gaming time that you're using for entertainment into actual income, why wouldn't you? We wanted to create this platform where gamers could actually earn money while they played certain games. And it was all centered around this game called Axie Infinity.
Axie Infinity is a digital pet community where players can sell their in-game characters for real money using the Ethereum blockchain.
The very first few Axie Infinity players were from here, and they're really young, 20, 21, 22. That's kind of the average age. They either were not able to finish school because of the lockdown, or they probably were high school graduates that were never really thinking of going straight into university. And what we were seeing was that the income that was being generated by these play-to-earn games was actually better than minimum wage in the Philippines. So they were, for the first time, able to contribute to the household.
How did this spread from current city to other cities?
Word of mouth is very powerful here. When you're in these really dense, we call them barangays, but they're basically like villages. Everyone is so close together, and you can literally walk down the street, peer into your neighbor's window, and see them playing this game, and just like ask them, what is that? There's a lot of fear of missing out, of course. Like, you don't want to be the last guy who didn't know that you could make money playing games. Especially as soon as it hit Facebook and Twitter. There was almost no way to contain a secret like play-to-earn gaming. The way that it kind of snowballed from its first 5,000 users to 1.5 million users, that almost felt like an inevitability.
YGG is one of the world's most popular guilds. What is a guild? Is it a social collective of shared interests?
It is a bunch of people who are just very passionate about a particular hobby. In this case, it was Axie Infinity. In other cases, it's art. But like, the guild term itself doesn't necessarily mean game. It's really just a community, and they usually organize themselves on Discord, Telegram, Facebook groups.
From my understanding, you analyzed 20,000 guilds. What is the business of the guilds?
A lot of it's asset management. They will hold some assets within their community, and then they'll try and manage the yield around those assets. The guilds generally have their ear to the ground. They understand the industry trends very well, because they're always seeking new opportunities to earn and create yields. When we look at the 20,000 guilds, the biggest insight is 97% of the growth of GameFi was actually attributed to micro guilds. And those micro guilds are typically around 100 people in an online community. Yet the guilds that you will hear about every day, like the YGG, those guys are macro guilds, so they've got more than 1,000 players. They only contribute 1% of the actual entire guild ecosystem.
So do you think that, in the future we'll be depending on the guild as a new business model?
We saw the first version of what guilds look like when Axie Infinity exploded here in the Philippines. There was over 20,000 gaming guilds in the Axie ecosystem that are basically powering all the growth. Guilds are just the term that what we call Web3 communities, right? Web3 communities are going to be looking at anything that comes into the Web3 space in the future. Gaming is just the first step for crypto adoption. But then we look at DeFi, metaverses, we look at like different ways that basically Web3 communities can interact with this whole new digital economy that's being built out right now.
What do you think is the importance of guilds in the Web3 ecosystem and the metaverse?
It's equalizing the accessibility, right? So anyone can basically participate. You're going to see online communities basically facilitating the adoption of more job opportunities and business opportunities. I think this leads to broader inclusion of communities into a new digital economy. And you can call that the open metaverse, where people can interact with this Web3 world.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. So these are some of the players that really built the community here in Cabanatuan City.
I'm
I'm a scholar sa YGG.
I'm a community helper. I usually do talks. I'm helping the new ones with the basics of crypto world.
I'm in charge for YGPH to keep the community strong.
Why is community so important?
This is how we do things in Web3, more on collaboration. We're not on a employee-manager kind of relationship, but we treat everyone as family.
What if I'm really bad at games?
We do coaching. So we have training in our Discord.
I'll teach you how to play.
Can I be a scholar also?
You'll get 100% of all your
So I have a naughty question. So since all of you are already equipped and you know how to buy your crypto, fund the asset, right? Why don't you start out your own guild? Why remain with YGG?
YGG is the guild of all guilds sa Web3. So, bakit pa ako mag-i-start na sarili kong guild kasi? Ando na lahat sa YGG. Dati walang-wala ako. As in, walang-wala. Mula nung nakapasok ako sa YGG, sobrang laki naging tulong sa akin. Tapos, nakakapagbayad na ako ng mga bills, nakabili ko ng pagkain. Tapos yung mother ko, which na may cancer ngayon, nag-undergo ng treatment, natutulungan ko siya. Nakakapag-provide ako para sa kanya sa pambili ng mga gamot.
Natutulungan ko yung magulang ko sa mga gastusin sa bahay. Tsaka hindi ko sa kanila inaasa yung mga kailangan ko na gamit sa mismong pera ko nakukuha or doon sa mismong tinulong sa akin ng YGG nakukuha.
Basically, we're already bonded from YGG. I think YGG is very special to us.
And being here in our community, it will open up a lot of opportunities for you.
What these loyal members of YGG are saying about how playing a game has changed their life or given them new income opportunities is actually not new. During COVID-19, I remember watching a video where XC players in this very city were making a living by collecting tokens in the game and exchanging them for cash in the real world. This was also the time where play-to-earn gaming and gaming guilds experienced phenomenal growth worldwide. However, XC's growth turned out to be unsustainable due to a flaw in the design of the game economy. The price of game tokens spiraled down, causing users to leave the game and many to lose their investments. I heard that you are an XC Infinity player. How did you get into XC Infinity?
I started around May of 2021. I was introduced to the game by my son, and I saw that it could be a good business opportunity. So I bought a few axes and I started to play. And then I got a couple of scholars.
So you have a mini guild?
Yes, something like that. We were doing pretty well. So I started to reinvest the money that I was earning into buying more axes until I got to 10 players. A couple of months after that started to crash. The tokens lost more than 95% of their market value.
What do you think is the crux of the problem in play-to-earn?
I don't know about the other play-to-earn games. The problem with Axie was that its economics was flawed from the beginning. They were creating so much tokens, the value just kept on going down. And the developers were not able to respond quickly.
There are other play-to-earn games. Do you think you will ever play them again?
I think in the future, when the design is better, when the economics is better, the redistribution of wealth, the power, yeah, it's a good thing.
Are you a believer in Web3?
I believe in decentralized finance. I believe in the blockchain technology. I think it's going to be the way we will spend and trade in the future. Yeah, so I believe in Web3.
traveled to the birthplace of youth games in Cabanatuan City in the Philippines to understand how gaming guilds made play-to-earn gaming accessible to more people during the COVID-19 pandemic, and met a former Axie Infinity manager who witnessed the game's rise and fall. It turns out that the buzz of Axie Infinity was just one of the many dominoes to fall. Since the crash in value of Axie's game tokens, the entire blockchain gaming sector and the crypto market has fallen into a deep slump, what many call the crypto winter. Gaming guilds exist to help people earn crypto while playing games. So, what is the role of gaming guilds now that the price of crypto has fallen so much? Luis, who manages the local chapter of YGG, is taking me to the surf town of La Union, where team members periodically meet to plan for the future.
In the past 2 years, from what I understand, the monthly revenue and number of users for YGG has declined.
Yeah.
Is that an accurate assessment?
At our height, we were looking at about 30,000 active players that we were supporting directly. And yeah, that has declined because a lot of the players that got into this for the first time, their main motivation was because they wanted to earn some money from it. As the amount of money that they've earned has declined, so has the number of players that are really, really interested in it.
What do you say to the criticism that a lot of these play-to-earn games, right, they're just basically pyramid schemes?
The definition of a pyramid scheme would be one where we sell the assets that we bought cheap to our users, but we never did that. We still own all of them. So we rode the rise and fall of those prices.
But Axie Infinity made money, right? YGG made money. Unfortunately, the people who came later, the users or the community that came later, they all lost money.
The only way that you would have lost money as a member of YGG is if you went out there and started buying your own Axies.
Okay.
Because if you were just a member of YGG, we would only take a commission of whatever you earn.
Okay.
Right? So how would you have lost money then? A lot of people started looking at YGG and started creating their own micro guilds with their own scholars and players underneath it. And unfortunately, they became entrepreneurs at a time when the crypto market, just took a bad downturn. There's always going to be some winners and losers. But that is also kind of how markets work. So one of our most important projects right now is called Metaversity, a collection of video courses to upskill people. The more educated the members of a particular space are, the better they are at understanding what's actually going on in the ecosystem. This leads to less friction, which eventually leads to less time spent on arguing online and more time spent on actually developing the technology.
That is your next evolution for YGG, to actually educate people and, teach them skills.
It's not necessarily evolution because I don't think that YGG is wed to the play-to-earn concept only. I think what we're wed to is the idea that we can hook people up with income opportunities in the metaverse. It's one thing to say that, hey, on the metaverse, you can get a job just like you can in real life. But it's another thing entirely to actually show people how to become a citizen of the metaverse. Like, if you don't understand crypto, you're gonna have a really hard time.
It has been said that because of the popularity of the play-to-earn Axie Infinity, a lot of people are leapfrogging now to crypto adoption.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
Ordinary people, before they could understand and leapfrog to the crypto kind of account, they have to first to have a fiat account, right? You cannot leapfrog that quickly if they don't see the day-to-day usability. Outside of the urban centers, cash is still king. They can leapfrog for those who are educated and sophisticated in knowing these things, but in general, that will be a challenge.
What do you think is the problem here?
The fruit vendors that come to my house, they just have the old phone, not the smartphone. How can they leapfrog if the phone itself is not capable?
So it is about education, accessibility, and affordability.
Yes. I don't know if you are aware, the Philippines, we don't have a common identifier Low-income people, if they're not working formally, they don't have an ID. So if you don't have it, how can you open a crypto account without any information? You need like the interconnectivity of the whole country. And then when you connect them, you need to have the skills to be able to make good use of it.
Hey everyone, so this is Anna. She's gonna be sitting in on this meeting, so no confidential stuff.
It's undisputable that YGG has a very strong following. If any Filipino teams want to start, can they just model this to build community? Because this is the dream, right? Everyone wants to build a community, and you guys actually did it in less than a year.
The thing is for you to build a community, and for the community of loyalty to you and trust in you, it really needs to be organic. It can't be fake. You have to be sincere about it. And I think that's why when we build our team, we make sure that it's people from the community or people who know what YG is all about, so that we're, espousing the same values.
Most of the time, access to information is a bit hard for many of the Filipinos. What we do is we extract those key information and translate it in a way that many Filipinos will be able to easily understand. And we always want to make sure that everyone is being listened to. We identify what their problems are, and that way we can create something that would to some extent resolve those problems.
Like in the year that we've been in existence here, we've done several surveys, community surveys. So it might sound like, oh, we listen out right here and there, but we actually do like proactive steps as well to make sure that that's a continuous thing. So yes, you may have the models, you may have the manager, you may have the educators. Even though it sounds so simple, it actually takes a lot of effort.
Introducing the Guild Advancement Program. You have over 100 quests across over 60 games that you can join.
Why do you have the Guild Advancement Program?
Guild Advancement Program is one way for us to really gamify the reward system for our guild members. Right now in Web3 space, there are a lot of people or freelancers are working in Web3, and they don't have credentials to show to the other Web3 companies of what are their capabilities, what are their skill set. We are formalizing it by means of providing badge or NFTs to them. So for example, we have the Knight of the Realm. If you help and answer questions from our Discord server, queries about different games or partner games, then you get to have that badge. And for a game owner, if I'm looking for a moderator on my Discord server, I can definitely recruit you because I can see here that you have the badge. It's like a resume wherein you keep your employment track.
You teach the players how to do this, right?
Yep.
I mean, not everybody have the skills.
If there are scholars who are sending us some intentions of being a content creator, we help them develop their content creation skills. There are only really a few people or talents out there that first are willing to dive into Web3, and second of all are also familiar with Web3. There's a lot of new skills that we have to learn in Web3.
So are you building all these programs so that you can build the YGG team?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's been said that 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 haven't been invented yet. I don't know how accurate this statement is, but I do know that the future of work in a decentralized and digital economy will be very different to how most of us work today. So, I appreciate what YGG is doing to prepare Filipinos by going back to basics, giving them knowledge so that they can transition from being a consumer to a creator, and using soulbound tokens to create a permanent credential system to recognize both formal and informal skills. On the other hand, for more Filipinos to reap the benefits of Web3 and the digital economy, more needs to be done in terms of infrastructure and ensuring that the rural and economically disadvantaged are not left behind. This requires the concerted efforts of both the private and public sectors. Every single time we talk about Web3, games always comes up. Why is gaming so important to Web3?
Everyone keeps saying that the system is broken. We need to change the system, we need to rebuild the system. But how do we do that? So with games, I've got different kind of user archetype. And because you have different kind of preferences in the user behavior, you can play around a lot more with the economic models. We can start creating brand new systems with policies that benefits everyone in this ecosystem, and we can create fair ecosystems and rules of how we enable trade to happen.
Why are we talking about trade, economics, when we're just talking about games? Shouldn't it be simple?
The truth is, the games are very, very complex. For a game to be self-financing, self-sustaining, we're creating different assets. The assets are used by players like us, and then it gets circulated in the economy. How do you make sure that this is the price to pay to go into a battle? How do you create all these different new assets that can be used for a specific time frame and sustain this economy? At the end of the day, economics is just three things: incentives, disincentives, and behaviors. Everything we want to do is affect people's behaviors. We want people to play this game. We want people to go into battle. And we create the right incentives or disincentives to get people to do that. So games are not too different from a country.
When we speak about games and tokenomics, obviously the most famous and popular game is Axie Infinity. What is the broader impact of the Axie Infinity phenomenon for the Philippines?
One is people are interested in games now. There's more interest in creating new games and really growing the game economy and game system. And the second thing is there's a viable way of moving people towards the digital economy. Because with DeFi, you have to understand how to connect your MetaMask wallet, how do you measure the different kind of risk and impermanent loss. Whereas with games, it's a lot easier because you interact everything through this gameplay. One thing that I'm noticing with a lot of new games coming up is that they're not even promoting blockchain as their technology. It's like when we use emails and send emails, you don't use the TCP/IP protocol. You don't care about that. Everything's in the background. You just send an email. So games are making blockchain as ubiquitous as that. It's all in the background. It's facilitating trade. Data is transparent, but you are engaging in this digital economy.
Is the metaverse for players to build their digital life.
The whole NFT-based play-to-earn games, there are a lot that spawned after Axie Infinity. Where do you think these games are headed to?
There's a big trend right now moving towards play-to-own. You play the game to own these different assets, and you can continuously exist in this metaverse or this game universe. And the other trend is play and earn, being play as a priority and then earning as a secondary. And so it really promotes true fun game being created, and this is where value comes in.
We've been working together for almost 10 years now, making mobile games. We've learned a lot from that experience, and we're trying to bring it into the whole play and earn space.
Can you share with me what is the difference between play to earn and play and earn?
Play to earn means a game simply exists because players are expected to earn something at the end, be it an NFT, a cryptocurrency, or whatever. While play and earn, the prime motivation is the players come in because the game is fun and then they may earn something as a reward.
My question then is, since it's play and earn, your focus is on the game, right? So your earnings are significantly lower. So if I'm a player, wouldn't it affect my interest in the game?
Well, not really. Our target audience was always the mid-core players currently playing other video games and want to experience something new. Not play to earn or anything.
How big is the gaming community here?
You go to the street, everyone is, when they're commuting, they're playing Mobile Legends or they're playing some form of game. So actually a huge bulk of the population is actually playing a game in some form.
This is the player versus player interface. We have some players that are already registered in the game, so we can pick one of them to fight. I'm feeling lucky, so let's go for the team with the highest stats.
The battle is joined.
Wow.
Oh, we won?
Okay, yeah, we barely won with 1 BP earned.
How do I earn money in this game?
Okay, so you earn stuff by playing the single player mode. There's a whole tower that we have to climb and fight. And with every match that you do, with every floor that you accomplish, you get a treasure chest. So far, we've been earning pearls, and that's the basic currency in the game. What a player would do is they'd exchange these pearls for the tokens.
Oh,
We call the tokens ginto, and those tokens can be converted to fiat.
what is the value of the tokens?
We're still figuring out the exact conversion of the tokens to the fiat, but yes, we're anticipating fluctuation depending on the supply, depending on how much players are earning. So we're planning to design an algorithm that accounts for that.
A lot of games that have come up after Axie Infinity, whether it's move to earn, play to earn, has always been criticized of not having a sustainable tokenomics. How do you make the tokenomics of Anito sustainable?
First and foremost, you have to engage the users, keep them coming back, play every day for as long as you can. Because in our experience, you can only monetize those players who've been in the game for the longest time. You can't monetize new players, so it has to be engaging for them enough for them to shell out money.
So the business model is really from NFT sales. In-game syncs or things that the players could buy inside the game with crypto and with other forms of currency. Then the cashing out is a secondary thing that hopefully the players will reconsider because they could reinvest it back into the game, buying more costumes or things that make their characters look better. We also plan to put up our secondary marketplace where players can also sell back their NFTs and we get a small commission from that.
The co-founder of Reddit, Alexis Ohanian, once said that in the future, 90% of gamers will only play a game if they are rewarded for it. Do you agree with that?
I think that it's about defining what rewards would be. We've talked to many of our partners and launchpads and other NFT marketplaces, and they're saying that if I can pay for my phone bill or get a Shopee or Lazada coupon from playing this game for 10 minutes, that's great. So it's similar to like having a rewards program, but using the token for that. And who knows what the next iteration will be. But the point is, play and earn phenomenon is going to be a part and parcel of the gaming industry. You can if you want. If you don't want, it's fine.
Pili na! This is Nino's shop. We actually based Nino on an elf character in our culture, and so he's the guy who sells us stuff.
Thank you. What are these names? The Mahaba...
Oh, these are the characters' names. They're all Filipino words.
Ah, okay.
So some of them are based on folklore.
International branding has always had a premium on it, while Anito is very, very Filipino. Do you think that you're missing out on that premium?
I think note when Netflix released Budget Dance 13 series, it's quite popular here. It also has some cult following in other countries. And many of the terms are actually in Filipino. So we felt that we can also be a global brand or a regional brand.
You know, why does it always have to be the Greek mythologies, the Roman mythologies? Why not the Filipino mythology? It's very rich, it's very interesting.
So it's not only a game, it's also, you know, bringing Filipino culture to the world, right?
Yes.
After traveling to all the countries and speaking to so many people, I asked myself, is Web3 an evolution, a revolution, or disruption? To me, it's everything, everywhere, all at once, just depending on where you look. Web3 is revolutionary in the case of Axie Infinity, where suddenly people can actually earn a living by playing games. It's also a disruption because it changes the way you think about identity and also ownership. It's an evolution because every country is building upon their strengths to find their position in the digital world. Singapore is carving a niche in the financial system, Taiwan in both hardware and software. Thailand, they are focusing on metaverse. Philippines on gaming, on upskilling the large labor workforce. Asia is developing from different perspectives, but in complementary ways. I believe that together, we will move the Web3 ecosystem, and this journey is just getting started.